You know it's super fly when Day Bar is opened. Hip-hop review, news, plus breaking new artists, pop culture, current events with an urban view of it. This is all things hip-hop, delivered raw, unpolitically correct, the fans' perspective, putting all artists in check. Dope content, current hot by remarkable men. Our thoughts, clearly. Welcome to Audio Theory.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Audio Theory podcast. You already know who we are. We got this intro, this fly-ass intro.
Fire intro!
Introducing us. The name's gonna pop up right now, somewhere around here. Yeah, we got this shit on lockdown.
I saw like the post we did, like obviously for last week's episode. And I was like, yo, there it is, that's us.
And I also watched Everyday Struggle, and I realized like how eerily similar some of the shit is. But hey, we're trying to compete with the big dogs, so
yeah, dude.
Expect more from us.
How you been, my dude?
Been chilling. Work has been wild as usual, but it didn't dawn on me until like this week how fucking close we are to the end of the year. Like Q4 is in a week.
Yeah, Q4 is in a week away,
yeah. So that's been tripping me out, but I'm just trying to like squeeze in some more work from home type vacations the rest of the year. Me and wifey and a couple people might go to Cabo in November. Seems like the only like affordable yet distant / tropical vacation type spot that people successfully going to,
or like a whole
like 4 days.
Yo, let me know. I might be down.
All right, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because getting to Mexico is never too hard from Florida. So let me know.
All right, for sure. That would be dope. Because I think it's just her and one of her childhood friends, and it's like a group of 4, which I feel like the more the better. So be super sick, and it's cheap too. So I think all inclusive is like $700.
Nice.
I don't know if it's the same like depending on where you're coming from, but we figured like being able to stay in a hotel, drink for free, eat for free, and not have to do shit except.
Yeah, I mean, we're still gonna have to buy our own alcohol because they water that shit the fuck.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. You have to get like.
I remember I went to Cabo and I was like, yo, how am I? I've had 15 shots. Why am I awake? Like how is this possible? So yeah, they water the fuck out of that shit.
Yeah.
But dude, it's funny because like I feel like everyone in America is in Cancun right now.
Yeah, like, I think it's because it's one of the few places where they don't do the 14-day quarantine and shit.
Right, dude. Like their numbers are through the roof. Like their quarantine numbers, and I mean their COVID numbers, and like people are like, yo, I don't give a fuck. Like we're out. Like I need tropics, and we're out. I'm like, all right, bro.
Yeah, that's fine. I've never been to Cancun actually. I went to Cabo for a wedding a couple years ago. It was super dope. Like hands down, one of the best weddings I've been to. But Cancun has always been that like mythical spring break college kid, like everyone's fucking everyone getting faded all day type of thing. So I'm kind of.
So I did that. I didn't do it for spring break, but I did that same. Because dude, my last company, like it's crazy how like you realize you're young now. So when you had a job 7 years ago, you were really fucking young.
Yeah.
So when I like in my old company, they did like a annual trip, right? All the leaders and like top salespeople to Cancun. Like, dude, booked out the entire hotel. Everyone had their own room, like wild shit. So imagine like a bunch of like 26 to 45-year-olds just like, here, get drunk, but like don't get in trouble. And it's like, bro, like we're all gonna get in trouble. Like, what do you mean?
For real.
Like, I had one of my boys fucking push a senior vice president like in his chest. I was just like, yo.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Like, dude, but like, what do you think, bro? Everyone is wasted by 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, it's a 4-day trip, and only one day is there like an actual like all-day seminar orient event. The other 3 days is like, go get fucked up. Thank you for working for us. We don't pay you very well, but enjoy this. This is like... Unfortunately, I wasn't at my company at this time, and this was my company pre-acquisition. Okay.
For the company I'm at now, and I think at the time the company must have had maybe 10 to 15 people tops, and I think they went to fucking Tijuana. I don't even know if they went to somewhere like classier, and they got hammered. They were doing coke and shit, and I'm just like, this is an HR violation waiting to happen. Like they were going crazy, just going wild, and like the head of everything, the managing director essentially, allegedly was known to get pretty rowdy. So I can only imagine how much things could get out of hand in a situation like that.
15. Mine was almost like 500 people.
fuck,
bro.
I'm surprised one person didn't die out of that whole group.
But dude, well, someone did was found like passed out in the pool, so they had to like legit like bring her back to life.
Oh,
like she was done. And then a couple got caught fucking in the public pool, like, dude, but not even like they wanted to do it like at 4 a.m. when everyone's sleeping. This is like 3 p.m. where everyone's in the pool. They're like, yeah, no one's gonna see us. It's like, bro, you're fucking like, yo, wild, bro. Yeah, so they stopped doing that trip and just started doing more events like locally. Nice. But yeah, that was a wild time. Dude, did I mention the last podcast? You remember, like, dude, my company had like mass layoffs last week.
Yeah.
That, right?
I don't know if you mentioned it last week, but I know you had been mentioning.
I was hinting at it, right?
Yeah, something like
that.
Yeah,
dude. So that happened, man. Unfortunately, it had to happen. We were just like, overstaffed. Thankfully, I'm in a good spot. It worked out for me, but. Yeah, dude. So last week was rough, bro. Like, I had my first therapy session today in like 2 weeks, yo, and I was like, she's like, how you been? And I was like, oh, let me fucking tell you. So like, I was like, bro, I'm gonna have you like on retainer because it's like been like such an emotional roller coaster. But
how does that work? Is it when you do the therapy sessions? Is it But is it like through I don't know. Did you find this person through an app or like through a medical institution or something?
So I have her through my insurance. There's they just go through like telemedicine and then like therapy, and I just I found her, and yes, it's like $20 a session with my insurance. It's like phenomenal. Nice. And the first 10 sessions were free because of COVID. So yeah, super dope, bro. Like yeah, and it's cool because like what's cool about her is she's like kind of our age. Like I mean we're 30, 31. There's no way she's more than 35. So she's very like aware of like techniques. She's like studied this shit. But then she'll also like come back with some shit that we would say. Like I was explaining shit about like me and my girl or my ex, whatever, and she's like, yeah, I gotta stop that fuckery. And I was like, that shit like caught me off guard. I was like, oh shit, for real. Like,
yeah.
So it's cool, man. It's cool to have a third person's opinion who's like non-biased, not invested in you, besides like giving you the facts. So
yeah. And
she gives you like homework to do before every session.
Episode.
Yeah, sorry. It feels like a fucking episode I'm with there. So like before every session, so it's like you properly like you learn shit with her, and then you fucking like properly like study what you discuss. So yeah, man, definitely invest in your mental health, bro. Like if you ever need it, I would definitely go through your insurance and see what they offer, because bro, if I didn't have therapy during COVID, during my mom, during my breakup, like bro, I don't know where the fuck I'd be. So yeah, thank God for that shit.
No, that's dope that you're doing it, and I've always like mentioned to my girl like, A-Bar seems like his fucking skin is like super thick, and he's somehow with everything managed to maintain his sanity, and I'm sure that definitely helps, and something I need to do it too, because there's days where I'm like, fuck, like I need to vent to somebody, but like also someone objective, to your point, who isn't invested personally in like shit that's going on around me either.
Yeah, 100%. That's probably the main reason I did it, bro. Because I could go to anyone, but like again, and essentially she's saying the same thing, but it's coming from a place where I don't question her judgment. Whereas like if I go to anyone who loves me and cares about me, I'm like, bro, but I know what you're gonna say. Like you're gonna say it's gonna be all right. I'm like, but maybe it won't be all right. Like I can figure this shit out by myself. So
yeah,
man, definitely to everyone listening, definitely invest in your mental health, because, bro, at the end of the day, it's really what happens here that can determine the rest of your life, bro. Because it's wild how like if you get stuck, funny enough, like in your thoughts, in your feelings, that's really what fucks you up a lot, bro. So yeah, definitely grateful for that. But let's get into it, bro. Episode 46. Title this one "In My Feelings." I feel it's a very appropriate title. You guys will see for multitude of reasons. So why don't you kick off the main topic, which just like broke like 4 hours ago before we hopped on?
Yeah. So the Breonna Taylor case, they've come to a decision, and long story short, none of the officers that were involved were
the main indicted. 3 ones, right?
The main 3 ones. None of them were indicted for her murder specifically. I think one was indicted for endangering the neighbors or some shit like that. I forget the terminology.
Recklessness. Yeah, just like
something like that. Yeah, recklessness, and obviously that pissed off a lot of people. A lot of protesters, from what I understand, have been super emotional, and unfortunately, one of the things that took place shortly after this was a cop in Louisville, Kentucky was shot. I don't know if he was killed. Obviously, he was shot and injured though.
And it just happened like 20 minutes before us hopping on, so we don't even know the details. I know obviously there's protests all over America tonight, but especially like in the South, there's a lot of protests happening right now, bro. So I hope everyone stays safe out there.
Yeah, super unfortunate. Obviously, the Breonna Taylor case, I'll admit, is something I've never I've always heard people say her name and things like that.
Yeah.
But I never knew the intricate details of what happened, other than this woman was sleeping, kind of minding her own business, and was shot and killed. And then I dug into it, and then I realized it was more of a dumbass mistake rather than a hit, or we think we're targeting her specifically. It was kind of like an accident. So I think it seems like less, at least in my opinion, versus like George Floyd and stuff, like kind of less racially charged, because they're kind of playing the accident angle. But I feel like these sorts of, based on why they were there in the first place, I feel like that's where the racial and I forget what the law is where they have to announce themselves before breaking in, but I think all those things combined just showcase how in poor neighborhoods where this demographic might exist, these things are more likely to happen. Whereas in a rich neighborhood, you're probably not gonna have people busting doors.
Bro, they're knocking on your door and saying, "Hey, does this person live here?" Because essentially what happened, you said, it was they were looking for her ex-boyfriend, who actually got caught, I think 45 minutes prior in a different part of town. So it's why wouldn't you know that already before you go and raid another house for that suspect, right?
Yeah.
But dude, what kills me is with this verdict, bro. I think this is not the end of it, but if this is the initial of it, you're damn, I know how this is gonna end. They're just gonna go off, scotch-free. I mean, I know her family just got a few $1 million for their, for their pain and suffering. I hope that because I think it was $15 million.
Yeah, something like that.
12 or $15 million. Yeah, so I hope that's a lot of fucking money. That's the highest payout in the history of American police brutality. So from what I've heard. So I hope that helps the case moving forward. That's listen, the fucking Louisville fucking police department paid this much because they know they fucked up. There's no way that you can admit for fucking up this badly and then just say, but the cops are gonna get off scotch-free. But bro, it's wild that essentially reading what happened today, that the cop is being reprimanded for the bullets that went into the house, but not for what the bullets did when they went in the house.
Yeah.
It's bro, you're getting a slap on the wrist for being reckless, but the consequences of your recklessness are not going to be addressed.
Yeah.
I'm bro,
that's super wild. It's you could have killed somebody, but and ignoring the person that actually died within this instant. That's what's super wild about it when I read what they were indicted for. And I was a little excited when I saw that someone had been indicted, because at first glance I thought they were indicted for her murder. And then I realized it wasn't that.
Not at all, man. So this is definitely an evolving thing, but I think everyone has their right. Dude, I don't know what the number was, bro, but I think it's been 164 days or 194 days since this happened. And it's dude, this is what you spent almost half the year trying to figure out.
Yeah.
That's rough, bro. That's rough, man. So I know, her family has to be destroyed right now. And again, dude, there's gonna be more protests, and dude, it has to be, bro. This is terrible. This is it's bad.
And for the people that are chanting, and I'm going to say specifically white people just in this instance, the ones chanting Blue Lives Matter and brutality and all this is a myth, I feel like there are a lot of cases where white individuals were involved and the cops got off for doing very similar things. So unfortunately, the conversation is... The racial focus is overshadowing everything else, and I think for good reason, just because I think there is a disproportionate amount of people of color being abused by the police in ways that might not be documented. But there's a dude called Daniel Shaver, and this was a relatively old case, but a white on white situation with a cop, and this guy's crawling in the hallway, crying, taking random ass orders from this cop. They're probably 20 feet apart, and the cop has a rifle, and this guy's on the floor crying, and the cops like giving him random orders like crawl to me and put your hand behind your back and like stand up with, you know, your fucking foot in the air and all kinds of shit that don't even make sense. This guy's like literally fearing for his life, so he's having difficulty following the orders. And the cops, like, as the guy's crying on the floor with no weapons, the cop basically says, if you don't like successfully follow my orders, I'm going to shoot you. And the guy continues crying. He's like, crawl to me and keep your hands up. And the guy's crawling to him with his hands up, but kind of stumbles, and the cop just unloads like 40 bullets.
Wow.
And I know if the guy was black, the story probably would have blown up infinitely more. But I don't understand how like a white person who's defending the cops could see that and kind of just look the other way, because I did research on the cop, and apparently he was fired, but they pleaded some like post-traumatic stress shit, and now he's still getting $2,000 a month in pension and working at some coal mine in fucking Kentucky or something, and he's just like living a regular life. And I'm sure his lawyer, he just had a good lawyer or something, and nobody's fucking saying shit about that. And I'm like, I think when I saw that example, I'm like, yes, I think we should be focusing on these racial injustices, but I also don't want the white people who are kind of against that and shrugging their shoulders and being like, well, nothing's really happening, to not realize that this shit is happening to everyone too. Like,
everyone,
no one's safe, essentially. So yeah, I think that's wild. Like, the police just don't.
Yeah, dude, they're literally like, again, we go back to the conversation we had when this shit really started popping off back in April or May. It's like, bro, they're really hired to protect the few and keep the rest in check. So poor Americans are gonna suffer. White, black, Latino, Asian, whatever. Bro, if you're broke and they deem you as a threat in any kind of way, the rules they will do with a white collar criminal are very different for you. Like, very fucking different. Like, you're gonna feel the wrath, bro. So yeah, it's wild to me. Yeah, like when a lot of people, white people in this example, refuse to acknowledge that, right? It's always like, well, the person should have fucking known his rules. Like, bro, like, I could be a dick to a cop and still don't deserve to be fucking killed. You know what I mean? Like, I could tell a cop to suck my dick, I'm not gonna, you know, and I don't deserve to be shot. Like, that's a fact, bro. Like, yeah, fucking add that to my, like, you know, he was incoherent, he was rude, like, that's what we arrested him for, fine. But me doing that should not be enough reason for you just to fucking load off on me. So
yeah. And on the flip side, that these are the same people that will see or hear a story about a guy at a bar who like shot somebody because they slapped his girlfriend's ass or some shit, and they'll be like, oh, these thugs like can't even take an insult and stuff like that. Yet, you know, if somebody like even questions a cop and dies, it's like, well, you should have followed orders. Like, how dare you ask the cop anything? And I feel like cops, yes, we should give them respect, but like that doesn't give them the right to just be complete assholes. Because I've only had a few interactions with cops, and I'm not the type of person to fucking get all pissed off because I know I'm not doing anything wrong. But they also have this air of arrogance where it's like, I'm the one who's calling the shots here. Like, you answer my questions, you're guilty before proven innocent, sort of thing.
Yeah,
like, this is not the way they should be interacting with people.
Bro, I remember, again, I was a junior in college in Miami. It's it's Coconut Grove. That's like, people don't know that part is like Collegeville for you, like University of Miami students. And honestly, if you're a cop out there on a Thursday night, you're already on edge because like, I'm gonna be dealing with a bunch of drunken college kids. Like, I don't want to deal with this shit, but like, it is what it is. Do I remember? So Miami has an open container policy, right? Like, you can literally just walk around from bar to bar with a drink in your hand. Like, that's
I didn't know that.
Known. Yeah. Or if it's not well known, everyone does it. It's never an issue. So there's one, I was leaving a Sandbar going somewhere else, and I had a massive thing, like a massive beer in my hand. And like, I just ordered it, bro. Like, I ordered it for my walk. Like, I just got this beer. And this cop is like, as I'm walking out, just comes at me, bro. And is like, put your fucking beer down. And I'm just like, why? Like, I just say why. And he's like, don't fucking question me. And I'm just like, bro, like, why are you so angry? Like, I legit said this. Like, like, Billy, Billy loved Billy to death. He's like, yo, like, Danny, like, let it go. It's not that serious. I'm like, but bro, why is he mad? Like what? Yeah. Like, I didn't do anything. I just walked out of a bar with a beer in my hand. And he's like, drop the fucking beer or I'm gonna ruin your night. And I'm just like, bro, why? And I'm not just like saying, like, you know, I was like, yeah, I was thinking, like, I said this to him, bro. I was like, why are you so mad right now? And then literally he just like slapped the beer out of my hand and like I walked away. But I was just like, bro, like, that was so unnecessary, bro. But I feel like cops have, like you said, like that entitlement. Like, bro, like, I'm better than you. And I'm gonna, if I feel like I'm tested, I'm gonna show you that I'm better than you and can literally ruin your shit if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, bro, their number one job is protect and serve. And in none of that fucking, those two words is not this fucking superiority complex that should be involved.
Yeah. I mean, now that I think about it, and that's a good example, I feel like it's some sort of human fault. And it's almost like that, I forget what the movie is, and I think it's based on a real experiment like between prisoners and guards. But I've been even seeing this shit at like grocery stores with the motherfucking line monitors and door monitors. Like, they're super aggressive. Those who don't know, my girlfriend's Asian, so unless people know us, typically if we're out in public and not standing literally right next to each other,
or like holding hands, yeah,
people just assume we're not together. So we were walking through the line, they're like, next, and my girl goes, I'm like, I just so happened to be 4 feet behind her or some shit because I was getting something, and the line monitor lady's like, hey, excuse me, like, stop, as if like COVID's gonna fly out of my fucking cock and infect the whole aisle. And I, like, after that instance, I'm like, people are just taking their jobs way too seriously. Granted, a police officer's job is way more dangerous than a fucking Publix or Ralph's grocery store employee, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, they just feel like they need to play into this character or something and show people that they're tough. I don't know if it has to do with insecurities or if they're just trying to give off this impression so people don't try them and, like, you know, potentially hurt them or what. But I think they need to be much more aware of like that kind of shit, because you shouldn't be able to or you deserve an answer. I feel, and not just for the drink thing, but like why was I pulled over, all that shit. Like, half the time it seems like they don't want to provide any information.
No, it's like how dare you question me? Yeah.
And it's not like you were doing some wild shit where like it's obvious, like you had a fucking dildo in your hand slapping people in line.
Yeah.
Or something.
And I'm like, yo, you got me, man. You got me. Like, yo, what's the fine? I'm gonna go. Like, you got me. Like, yeah, I've been pulled over and I know I'm speeding. And when they say, hey, did you know you were going fast? I'm like, yeah, I was in a rush. I apologize. You know what I mean? Like, I own that shit, bro. But if you're gonna just be on some like you're like, dude, I didn't do anything wrong, and you know you're right. Like, bro, there's no need for you to fucking like really just puff your chest out. It's like, do you know who I am? Like, I could fucking ruin you. Like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, man, it's crazy, bro. So again, I know a lot of people get crazy when we say, like, you know, defund the police. I feel that has like a lot of layers and levels to it. But shit like this, bro, it's like, come on, man. Like, they pretty much do the most fucked up shit, and then it's their own people who are doing the, you know, judgment on them, so they always get off scotch-free. I think their fucking union is like the strongest union in America because like they always budget into their fucking like police budget of the year like $60 million for like, if we fucking kill someone, just pay the family off. It's like, bro, like, how is that budgeted into your system? Like, that's like, that would never fly in any fucking company in America. Like, oh yeah, let's just budget in this extra $1 million in case Blair fucks up this year. It's like, no, let's fire Blair. Like, you know what I mean? Like this.
Yeah. It's just like it's a cult, really. And a cop verified this on a work conference call thing we had, where we were trying to talk about like how cops and minorities specifically can have better relationships. And he said essentially, like, you know, they work odd hours, you know, a lot of people hate them, and they just form these cliques with other cops because they can relate, and then they're into this echo chamber just like any other group where like all you hear is shit that people, like-minded people, are saying 24/7. You know, cops this, like, blue lives, you know, they just don't understand type shit. And then before you know it, that I feel like that animosity comes out on the public, and it's like they're dealing with a lot of scumbags. I understand that, just, you know, spitting on them, saying all kinds of shit. So when someone like you comes around and is like, has an honest question of like, what, like, why is this illegal? Then they flip out and all of a sudden want to like lay the law down on you. And I feel like it's just a sick cycle, toxic cycle, that we somehow have to fix. Like, I don't know if, because I talked to my LAPD friend and he's saying, you know, we have offer free ride-alongs and all kinds of shit, and he tells me wild stuff they deal with too. So I feel like it's a huge misunderstanding, but we have to like fix it in a scalable way somehow, because the misunderstanding is causing people on both sides to die for no reason. So
facts, bro.
We gotta do something.
Yo, it's gonna be a civil war soon, bro. Like, if it's not the election, it's this. So yeah, dude, we gotta figure this out, because this shit is bad right now. So definitely shout out to Breonna Taylor's family. Rest in peace to her. I mean, this, as far as justice being served, I hope this is just the beginning of more things to come down the road as far as more indictment, more charges. I'm afraid it's not, but I really hope that someone steps up and is like, man, we got to do right by her, because at the end of the day, what happened is fucked up. And if these 3 cops need to be an example, make them a fucking example.
Yep. Agreed.
All right, so again, the episode is in my feelings. I think all of America is mourning right now, definitely in their feelings, but I'll try to make a pivot on this as best possible. It seems like a lot of rappers were in their feelings over the week. Like, I think we spoke about this before, so we don't have to go too deep in it, because I know we spoke about with like Logic, like really getting offended by Joe Budden. Yeah. So I think Drake was going at Wayno over like the most dumbest shit. Yeah. And then Migos went at Akademiks. So like, what are your thoughts of these rappers who are gazillionaires going at these people who like on vlogs and, you know, have certain platforms?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just proves that they clearly understand the influence of these media outlets. Otherwise, they wouldn't give a shit. Because
yeah, that's probably what,
sometimes
that's a great point.
I mean, the media outlets kind of shape the narrative and everything. So as much as they want to say fuck the blogs and stuff, it's really it's kind of like when a dude's hollering at a girl and they're like, oh, you're hot and shit, and then the girl's like, I don't want your number anyways, and they're like, fuck you then, you're ugly anyway, ho, and all that shit. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's a great analogy. Yeah.
When they're nice, when the media outlets are like, yo, best album of the year and shit, then they're all up in the comments like fire emoji, reposting, and then as soon as it's like fuck this nigga or whatever the case is, then all of a sudden it's like ban them and cancel them and fuck them, I don't care, like your opinion's not valid. And I'm just like, pick a side. Yeah. And it's weird because I feel like it only happens with rappers, or like at least they're the ones who are in their feelings. Like singers and shit, unless it's very serious, I feel like half the time.
I mean, and that only to defend the rapper, I don't think there's other blogs that are as aggressive with the criticism as like hip hop media culture is. You know what I mean?
It's probably more gossipy shit, like this bitch got a nose job, or like.
Oh yeah, like a nose job, or can you believe she's cheating on him? But I don't know. Which again, that could be hurtful too. But I feel like in hip hop, because it's such an ego-driven fucking culture, it's like, bro, how dare you talk bad about me? You know what I mean? That's kind of what it is. But dude, like specifically like the Drake one, bro, that was like, dude, that was a nothing problem. Yeah. It was super petty. It was like, bro, he's like, yeah, because I think Drake does a Saturday basketball league, you know, because he has a fucking mansion and like runs a league every Saturday, and his team won. So Wayno's like, obviously his team won. It's his own house. Like, I would say that, bro. Anyone would say that.
I think it was the icing on the cake, though.
Yeah, because I think Wayno's never been like the biggest Drake, but dude has given Drake a lot of fucking like. He's like, bro, he's a cheat code. He's the biggest artist since Michael Jackson. Like, dude, he has given him compliments. Yeah. And then Drake was like, man, you're always commenting on the next nigga. I'm like, bro, that's his job. Like, that's his job.
Or maybe Wayno said something about someone he cares. Drake cares about. I don't know. But to your point, like, it is the journalist's job to talk about people, and I think they go to that excuse to make it seem like, oh, you're just a chatty patty or whatever phrase they use nowadays, who just talk shit for a living, and like it's not credible, which I don't think is fair. Like, it requires work.
Everyone has an opinion, bro. Everyone has an opinion, and you're allowed to share it, especially if like people like, dude, the platform that is complex, bro, for everyday struggle. Shout out to them. Like, bro, that's a massive platform, bro. So there's a reason why that show is still doing well, you know, 3 years in. Like, people give a fuck what they have to say. So, and then the Akademiks one, I think, dude, he was giving legit, you know, context, a critique on fucking Migos. Like, dude, the Migos really haven't been hot in a while. And he came to the conclusion that maybe it has to do because they live such a rich lifestyle now. They're removed from the essence of where they came from, so this shit doesn't hit as well. Which, dude, that's a clear, like, that's an okay comment to make. Like, dude, if you're no longer in the slums and you're still rapping with the slums, people will be like, bro, really? Like, you know, it's like, let's talk about some other shit. So again, it's just hilarious to me how these guys are just like so sensitive, bro. Like, so sensitive.
Mm-hmm. I even thought about that, like, with this podcast. Obviously, we're not at a point where we're having like 10,000 comments to sort through. But part of me, not yet. But part of me, I mean, we've gotten a few comments here and there. And part of me wants to convince myself and tell myself that regardless of how bad the comments are, I feel like I wouldn't give a fuck, because these are like just random ass people, faceless people who aren't putting in any of this work. And they have an opinion too. And unless they're like straight up threatening my life, I feel like there's no reason to take this shit that seriously. Now, if someone we idolize like Drake is like, yo, that dude Blair and Danny are corny as fuck or some shit, then I'll be like, all right, this shit kind of
damn, bro. I gotta delete all his songs from my fucking phone right now.
That's when it would hurt.
Yeah, I get, bro. But I feel like, I get it. But dude, at the end of the day, these guys are human beings. So if anyone talks shit about you, I'm sure, like, for a second. But I feel like when you know, like, if you respond, we're only gonna look at your response. So it's like, what? It's not worth it to me, bro. But again, these dudes are all fucking gazillionaires, and they're probably like, yo, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want. Because I think they go into that thing like, if you saw me in the street, you wouldn't say this shit. It's like, bro, but why are we gonna fight now? Like, why is it about that? Cause I think Quavo was like, I dare you to come to my house. I won't hit you, but my girl might. I'm like, bro, like, what?
Yeah, no, that was wild. I mean, again, he's like an easy target too. Like Akademiks, like him, Tekashi, all those dudes are easy targets. Not because, you know, I mean, they still have a lot of fans and everything. I just feel like they've already seen other people clown them, so it's easy to be like, fuck Akademiks or fuck Tekashi or whatever. And it's just not a good look, in my opinion.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think we agree on that one, for sure. Speaking of other rappers in their feelings, kind of like continuation from last week with Kanye. Dude, kind of in his feelings today in a good way, though. He's telling all of his artists on Good Music that he's going to give them back 50% of their masters. So, bro, I don't know what his long-term play is, but for the artists under his label, I mean, that has to be dope, bro. Like, he's legit saying, yo, like, I respect that you guys made this music. Here it is. Like, that's dope.
I wonder, I mean, do you think it's a little bit hypocritical considering how hard he was going earlier about, like, not having this and that and black this and that, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, by the way, like, I realized I fucked you over. Like, here's
I don't think it's hypocritical when the end result is him giving back to other black artists. So I think it's kind of like, I think he's saving face a little bit, probably.
Yeah.
But I wonder what his end game is, right? It's like, is him doing that, trying to force the people who own his shit to give it back to him? Like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of just like, it's hard to fucking decipher what Kanye is obviously thinking, because that's the hardest thing in the world. It's like the fucking meme in A Beautiful Mind where he's like, like, what is he trying to do with this?
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as like those artists, like, you know, fucking who is it? 2 Chainz, Pusha T, you know, Big Sean, who I think commented on that shit as well. Like, that's a good look, bro. You own your shit. Because in the day, it's such a weird thing, bro. Because again, we spoke about this at length, so I'm not trying to get into it again. But like, these guys signed some pretty horrendous deals. But then, like, again, you shouldn't sign the deal. Like, if you're not gonna own your shit. But then, like, to take a step back, it's like, yeah, I signed this terrible deal because I was fucking broke and I couldn't feed my family. But I'm literally laboring 17 hours a day to make the best content ever. And because you just happen to be the record label, you own all of it. I can see why they could be like, damn, bro, this is fucked up. But it is what it is.
For sure. Yeah, with Kanye, like, I think everything he says is valid. Everything he says is valid. But for some reason, it just comes out of nowhere, it feels like. And I think that's what makes it really difficult to gauge where he's coming from. You're kind of, first off, you're like, oh, does he have an album coming out? Like, let me check the calendar. And you're like, did his last song flop? Is that why? And you're just trying to come up with all sorts of conspiracy theories as to why he's randomly saying this shit. Is it because of Trump? And I think that's what's kind of odd about it. And it's also weird that he is saying this now, because he's always, or not always, but ever since the whole like what was it, like the Yeezy shit, when he was first trying to get on and be like the biggest fashion designer the world has ever seen and shit. I'm curious as to why he wasn't like, these thoughts weren't coming to fruition then, and why he wasn't going as hard. Granted, it's a lot to chew off at one time. But still, it's just super random. I'm like, okay, so what does this mean? Like, we know
that's the best word, bro. Like, it's random, right? It's like, it's almost like a form of Tourette's. But you're like, what? But then you're like, you're not wrong. But like, huh? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you bringing this shit up now? But again, he's not wrong. Like, I think that's what we were saying last week on episode 45 about keeping up with Kanye. Like, not wrong, bro. But yeah, it's just so random. But again, at least in this situation, people are benefiting from it. So like, I'm all for it, bro. So kudos to him. Dude, I think I kind of wanted to get into again, and I don't want to become a soap opera TV network and talk about drama as well. But dude, talk about like, more stuff in my feelings. Dude, the Vanessa Bryant and her mom drama playing out for all of social media to see was sad, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that was sad to me. Like, what were your thoughts on that? I think, what was it? Her mom had an interview where she was saying that, like, Vanessa doesn't really help her out financially and took her car back. And it's like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah.
And I want to be careful about making allegations, suspecting what may have taken place, just because we obviously don't know. But
I have no idea.
Anytime, like, someone passes away and money's involved, like with the Breonna Taylor case, for instance, and I'm talking about shit ton of money that could potentially,
change generations.
Change generations. The first thought that comes to mind is like, how bad is this gonna get? And that's how I felt with Kobe's passing, as well as Breonna Taylor's finding out the 12 million was the thing. Because now I'm like, it's gonna shit the focus for those individuals is immediately going to shift away from, oh, we miss her and him, to, all right, who gets 2.5 million here, who gets 50 million here. And I think the obvious thing is there must be tension as far as money goes. I don't know who was the instigator and who was like, if the mom was asking for half the fortune or some wild shit like that, but clearly money was the most immediate afterthought once they determined Kobe's death within the family. Like, all right, he's dead, we miss him, but who's getting all this shit? And a ridiculous amount of money. Like, that shit is next level. Like, you're essentially a king in this country with that kind of fortune. So yeah, it's really sad how it's like, once you're at that level and you've kind of developed the lives of so many people, and you were the breadwinner and responsible for everything, once you pass, it's like everyone left over is fighting
hands
for
out.
scraps.
Their hands are out. Like, what am I getting?
Your legacy is kind of just tarnished by that in a way. It's like it becomes no longer about what value you gave as a human being. It's like just what can you do to make these people's lives more materialistic and luxurious for the remainder of their existence.
But like, my thing is, like, think about how bad that situation had to get for her to go to the media and put this shit out. Like, that's the sad part, bro, because I mean, I hope everyone, reconciles and they're in a good spot in a few months or years from now. But like, think about that, bro. If you're Vanessa, your husband just got killed, you lost your youngest or one of your younger daughters, and now your mom is asking you, like, where's my money? And it's like, what the fuck? Again, we don't know what happened. We don't know. And I'm assuming Vanessa, but whatever it is, like, dude, as far as, like, if I was in that shoot, like, in that spot, I'm like, bro, what the fuck, man? Like, what are we doing? So that's what breaks my heart. But again, I don't know who's right or who's wrong, but it just sucks that, like, the media the media was involved. And it wasn't like the media found this story. Like, apparently, like, the mom went to the media to get this out there to bring in more attention, which again is heartbreaking, bro, because at the end of the day, like, you only have one mom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, bro. Like, again, obviously hits home for me a little bit harder, but it's like, yo, why do you want to fucking have beef with your only parent or your only, you know, your daughter, when it's like, yo, like, you're literally like, you go for one of one. Like, I only have one of you, you only have one of me. Like,
yeah.
So that's the sad part of me.
Right. And my friend he might be biased because he's a Kobe fan, and he's Latino, and when I sent him the video, he was like, just based on, I guess, how he saw the mom in the interview, he claims he was able to detect that she seemed toxic. I don't know what sort of cues or attributes he took from it. Maybe just her appearance. Yeah, some shit like that. Or maybe he's interactive with people's moms in his community who behave the same way. But it may be a case where, I mean, since it was brought to the media, maybe she was trying to defame her as in retaliation. Who really knows? If I had to speculate,
bad luck, bro. It's a bad luck.
Yeah, I would say the mom. They probably were talking about the fortunes, and the mom.
I would just say the mom had expectations.
Yeah, like,
and
yo,
maybe Vanessa never like put them to bed, and she's like, bro, it's been 8 months. Where the fuck's my money? Like that. Yeah. Like that has to be what it is, bro. Yeah. Like, where is my share? It's like, bitch, my husband died. Like, what the fuck do you want? Like,
yeah. So I'm sure that conversation started off somewhat cordial and then quickly got out of control.
Yeah, out of control. And it's like, well, you just inherited, you know, 400 million, whatever the number is, and you know I'm in debt, and you know I can't pay my car, and so it's like, yo, like, you're my mom. Yeah. Like, this is like, why is this my, like, yo, it's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's crazy. Hopefully they figure some shit out, because that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just sad, bro. When you sent me that video, I was like, damn, bro, really? Like, this is what we're doing? Like, all this shit 2020 has to offer? I guess you shouldn't be surprised, but it's like, come on, man. Like, fuck, man. I guess I'm not trying to take anyone's side, because, again, we don't know anything about this shit, really. But on the surface, I'm like, I feel for Vanessa Bryant, because that has to suck.
Except still, none of them were shooting with him in the gym. So that's so wild. Imagine, like, putting in all that work, having a fucking fatal accident like this out of the blue, and then there's just random ass people on planet Earth fighting for literally everything you put your life in.
Well, it's not random people.
Not random, but yeah.
If it was like the ball boy, it's like, nah, he owes me. Like, I was in the gym. Like, what the fuck?
No, I mean, if my girl, you know, had my fortune I built off of Audio Theory or some shit, like, well, no, you would still be running it.
Yeah,
so,
I would inherit that.
Yeah,
so when she
and both of you,
I'm like, I would block her. I'm like,
no, it'd be me and you on a private jet, and then it would have to be an accident with that shit, knock on wood. But hypothetically speaking, I guess I would be sympathetic to Vanessa's situation.
Speaking of one more thing of people in their feelings, I feel like the entire internet was in their feelings when Lupe Fiasco, in their minds, had the audacity to say he was a better lyricist than Kendrick. So obviously you are a avid fan of both of these artists to another level. So I'm gonna pass this on to you for you to say, one, was he right, and then two, like, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so, like, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I love that debate, because they were two artists that, for me, kind of give me the same feeling in terms of, like, the lyrics and beats. I feel like they're one of very few artists that are able to be woke, quote unquote, and conscious, but still do it skillfully and tactfully over, like, modern new school beats and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, Lupe is super woke now, though. But you compare, like, the
Lupe, he's gone kind of like almost underground or some shit with how, like, woke it is. Like, the Dinosaur song he recently released went way over my head. Like, I still listen to it, but it's not nearly as difficult, or it's far more difficult to dissect that than Kendrick shit.
Yeah.
If anything, Kendrick shit, I might just have to slow down or something. But I pretty much understand everything Kendrick's trying to say. Lupe has a special place in my heart musically, just because I heard him first, and he was, like, the first rapper that even inspired me to, like, write poetry and rap myself. And I always felt like part of me was kind of uncomfortable listening to a lot of rap, just really knowing deep down how contradictory a lot of it was, and how negative it was. And Lupe is one of the few mainstream artists that was kind of saying that wasn't cool, but in a cool way that didn't feel corny. And that's why I always, resonated with his music. And Kendrick's kind of been doing the same thing. I feel like Kendrick skews a little more hood and raps with more hood people consistently. But discography wise, anyways, I think Kendrick probably beats Lupe as far as like replay value and just being able to adapt to different sorts of moods. But lyrically, I think that's a way more difficult conversation. Like Lupe is super lyrical, miracle type, and says a lot of deep things that make you think. Kendrick does the same. I'm inclined to say like in a freestyle or something, Lupe would win, or just like a random one-off battle. Yeah. But like as just an overall artist, I would probably give the edge to Kendrick, and I think a lot of people would.
Yeah, but I think like to your point, it's closer than people think. So like it was just weird to me how like people were just like, who the fuck does Lupe Fiasco think he is? It's like, bro, Lupe Fiasco's an artist who's been around for like 15 years that is well respected and just like is not hot right now. But bro, when Lupe was fucking spitting, like holy shit, like there was a time, bro, I think it's probably like, I want to say 2009 or something, bro, like maybe that part, bro, that all your favorite rappers were from Chicago. It was Lupe, Kanye, Common, like bro, like Chicago had like the fucking rap game on like lock, bro. So yeah, I don't think this was like so far-fetched. Like yes, maybe Kendrick took that kind of like rapping to a different level, bro. He won a fucking Pulitzer Prize for his fucking Damn album. Like I get it, but I don't think it's blasphemous to think that it's for Lupe to think he's better than him. Like dude, like first of all, who cares? Like what does even better mean? But yeah, if we're just comparing, like yo, I'm as good if not a better rapper than him, I can see his point of view. Like why not?
And people always say rappers are supposed to think they're the best because they all have that braggadocious nature. And if you don't think you're the best, then people aren't going to want to listen to you. If like, I mean, every now and then a rapper like a Lil Yachty or whatever will be like, yeah, I know I suck at rap and I know I suck at freestyling, but the people of like Lupe and Kendrick's caliber, all of them would say, Eminem, all of them would be like, yo, I'm the fucking best. And I want them to all have that attitude because it makes the competition more interesting.
100%. Yeah. So a lot of people in their feelings over the last week. Anything you want to touch on before we get into Heat of the Week?
No, we could get into it.
All right, I'll let you take Heat of the Week first. Mine's going to be like super throwback that I need like a couple seconds to explain. Nice. What was your Heat of the Week?
Yeah. I've been waiting for this one, and you probably know why, because I mean, we posted on the Audio Theory Instagram, so check that out if you guys haven't followed. It's at Audio Theory. But Mr. Lil Tecca released an album last week. Shame on me for not fucking remembering the name right now.
I'll pull it up right now. Hold on. It is Virgo World.
Yeah, Virgo World. And me personally, I thought it was overall really good.
Dude, so I don't want to cut you off. So I want to hear your songs, but like, again, this is I wasn't actively listening, so that's on me. But it felt like every song sounded the same. Is that a fair?
Yeah, no, I think that's a very fair assessment. Okay. And for me, I'd say I'm pretty low maintenance when it comes to like critiquing reviews and album reviews specifically, just because I consider finding good new music a win. So if someone releases a 15-song album and I pull out 4 songs from it, I'm like, oh shit, I'm all excited and have new songs to replay. So by no means anyone listening am I saying this shit is a classic or anything. But Lil Tecca, he's like an artist that's released a few hits in there. Ransom's like his most obvious one. A lot of people say he has a generic style, which is arguably true just because of the auto-tuning thing.
Yeah, the auto-tune, yeah.
What I did love about this album was, one, I found out he was Jamaican, and the only reason I found this out is because, well, his parents are Jamaican, and like most people in New York, you either have Dominican, Puerto Rican, or Jamaican origins.
Yeah. But
I sensed the sound in his music on this album, and I'm like, this shit kind of sounds Jamaican to me. Even he kind of sounds Jamaican. And then I looked up some of his older music because I let the music videos play, and he was in Jamaica. And I'm like, all right, this motherfucker has to have roots. So he's found out his parents are Jamaican, which explains a lot. But the song that I loved the most off of this was Selection, produced by Skrillex and DJ Scheme. That one, in my opinion, was outside of Royal Rumble the biggest hit. And I know I've kind of been on this theme of, who would I put on the track to make it blow up? I feel like if Post Malone and Sean Paul were on that track, it could work really well because it kind of has like a dance hall-y type vibe. But I think that was
like he got Skrillex, which is a big deal. But if he fucking got Sean Paul and Post Malone on one track, bro, this nigga's budget is endless. Like,
he doesn't even have to do music anymore if he's able to get these motherfuckers.
That's a guaranteed hit in every country in the world, bro.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's super facts. So I love that. But as I was replaying this stuff and before this episode, I did have difficulty distinguishing what some of the other ones were. Like I know I added some shit to my playlist, but I'm like, what's the name of this shit again? Because I'm like, this sounded like 3 other songs in the album.
Yeah. I was cleaning the house and I was like, yo, like, is this the same song or it's it was just like I'm not against it, bro, because Pop Smoke's second mixtape, Meet the Woo 2, like it was the same thing. Like, it was just like 14 songs that all sounded like, but it's good though. So like I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it another listen to like my next workout. I'll listen to it. But yeah, the first time I was like, yo, this is catchy because he's very catchy, bro. Like him and Kid Laroi, like they're catchy as fuck. But I was like, yeah, this is like very repetitive to me. But I'll check out that song because I never got a chance to fully listen to the Skrillex production on that one, which is obviously Skrillex has been fucking doing it very well for 10 years now. So yeah, I'll check him out. But dude, my heat of the week made me realize why when we were talking about Camp Flognaut in November, that all those fans lost their minds booing Drake when they wanted Frank Ocean. Because I don't know what my phone was doing on, yesterday, Tuesday, that like the algorithm just went to like the Chanel album from Frank Ocean. Then I'm just like, let me just put like all Frank Ocean music on. Bro, my day yesterday was phenomenal, bro. Like I've never properly sat down and listened to his shit. Like I know the main songs, but like I was listening to like the B cut, like other songs and albums. And I'm just like, holy shit, Frank Ocean is a fucking star. Like, so like that's what I didn't get why they were booing Drake, but I get now, bro. Like, cause if I'm a Frank Ocean fan, I show up thinking he's there,
that's some mythical shit.
I'm like, bro, I'm gonna fucking kill everyone here. So I get it. At the time, I didn't get it because I really wasn't a Frank Ocean fan. But bro, I went through all his shit like 6 hours straight and like looped it back, and I was like, God, this shit is fucking good. Like, good. So, yeah, so the 2 songs that stood out to me the most, I don't think these are like some of his main, obviously some of his main songs, but it was, let me see, I had it here.
When I think of Frank Ocean shit, I think of like people on acid and shit who like want to be in tune with their inner self. I think the next time I do mushrooms,
I'm going to fucking listen to Frank Ocean because I can see that as well. Hold on, bro, I'm trying to look for this shit, my bad. All right, so Lost from the Chanel album. All right, that song is phenomenal. And then Nights from the Blonde album. Bro, these 2 songs I can loop for fucking hours on end and not get tired of it, bro. So yeah, for anyone who like me who's late to the Frank Ocean party and didn't get the hype, bro, check that shit out because it is phenomenal.
Nice. So Lost and Night, right?
Yeah, Lost and Nights. Yeah.
He's actually so.
And the cool thing about him, my bad to cut you off, but like you said, like it's that trippy thing because it's like it's kind of like the old Drake where like his songs would be like 3 songs in one, and it's like really long, but then you kind of it starts coming down a little bit, and then it takes you right back up. That's where like you're thinking about drugs makes sense because I can see that. Like if I was high, I'd be like, oh wait, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Your heat of the week gave me flashbacks to 2012 when Frank Ocean was just popping off. Even The Weeknd was just popping off. A$AP Rocky was just popping off. And
it's kind of sad to think about it because I feel like we don't get the same level of undiscovered talent nowadays. But
I think we do. So I think we do. It just, bro, think about that. Dude, when A$AP Rocky popped, you still bought that album. Like, dude, we just get so much content now, bro. That's what I think it is, bro. I think we're unable. That's why when an artist like breaks through now, you're like, yo, this guy's a fucking legend at 21 years old. Because, bro, we just get so much fucking music now. It's like, yo, I can't even like properly appreciate Gunna's album because he's coming out with part 2 next week, and then it's just like, bro, what? Like, it's just too much, bro.
That's super valid. Because I was listening to Kid Leroy's album today, and he released that music video with Lana Rhodes.
Oh my god!
If you guys don't know who that is, you better go online and find out.
Your Pornhub game is weak.
Yep, for real. But I was playing that song and I didn't even realize how much I liked that song. I let the album play while I was cleaning my room. I'm like, yo, this album's pretty dope, and I never gave it a full listen because there's fucking 30 other albums that came out, and I wanted to listen to those. And if it's like the bar has to be so high for me to be caught, for it to catch immediately. Like a lot of my favorite songs were ones that I kind of accidentally let play, and I'm like, oh, this shit like for some reason hits me, and I didn't wait for the hook or like a certain verse or something that I think is super dope. But with Frank Ocean and A$AP, when I first discovered him, I was obsessed with their music. I think as they got more not pop, but commercial, and just distant from like the industry, that kind of wore off. It's kind of like with The Game, the rapper. Like, he was hands down my favorite rapper for like 2 years, and then just kind of, he still released good music, but there was something, I don't know if I just outgrew them. Maybe that's what it is. Like,
you can only listen to like the same, like, I'm gonna kill everyone you love kind of shit like so often, bro.
I think
like the 14-year-old me was like, yeah, fuck it, let's kill it. It's like the 25-year-old me is like, yo, why are we so mad right now? Like, why can't we just shit?
Right. Yeah, we're into the more like emo shit, because I think this generation is growing up and we're like, yo, we need some therapeutic music now. Maybe that's why shit.
I think so too, bro. But I think with like A$AP, because even I get mad. I'm like, dude, he doesn't release enough music. But I feel like he does. But I think Frank Ocean and him, like, dude, like, I feel like they've realized, like, again, they're still both, like, I think they're both under 30. But, bro, there's something in this, like, drop, like, focus on quality and then don't drop shit for a while. And then, dude, that cult following, bro, you could have one song every 5 years, apparently, and they're still fucking losing their minds the moment it drops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the crazy.
A$AP's in that tier, I feel like, now.
Dude, cult following, bro. Like, and everyone's an A$AP fan. Like, yo, girls want to fuck him, dudes fucking want to be him, and people who enjoy music actually enjoy his shit. Like, bro, A$AP is like, he might be untouchable. Again, he probably hasn't dropped a good album in 6 years, bro. But the cult following behind him and the A$AP movement was, dude, it's a different level right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, shout out to all of them. Even Playboi Carti, who to this day we don't understand. Like, kudos to you for fucking. They're the real cheat codes in my opinion. Because Drake, he put in the work for his cheat code, and I'm not gonna say Playboi Carti and them didn't, but they did it in a far more unconventional way. Like, Drake literally.
Yeah, dude. But I think that cheat code failed when Drake, the ultimate cheat code, gave you a layup. And you fucked that verse up. I think people are like, bro, get the
I think that's the ironic thing. You can't do when you are the cheat code, you can't add cheat codes to it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you fuck up everything.
Yeah. The simulation was like, not today, motherfucker. Like, yeah. Because you would think like, oh, this is gonna be Playboi Carti's fucking ascension into like stardom, and everyone was like, what are you doing? Like, how did you fuck this up? You have Drake. Like, even Lil Durk got a fucking #1 song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. All right, my brother. Anything else you want to touch upon before we dip?
Nope. I am Gucci until next time. Oh, I'm going to the Bay this weekend. That's the only other update I wanted to get.
Be safe, bro. Are the skies clear?
Now they're clear. So we're driving up at 5 a.m. It's gonna fucking be brutal, but I need
weekend vibes or working there for the rest of the week vibes.
working there for the rest of the week vibes, unfortunately. But
You leaving tomorrow?
Leaving tomorrow morning,
Nice.
working Thursday, Friday, party Friday night, Saturday night, and then come back Sunday.
All right, bet. What's that drive? Like a 6-7 hour drive?
Yeah, but with no traffic, it'll be 5 tops.
That's not bad, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
for someone who did a fucking 20-hour drive, like light work, I feel like 6
Yeah.
hours. I'm like, bro, that's 3 podcasts. Let's go.
Compared to Utah, that's just like going to the grocery store.
Yeah. All right, man. Have a great time. Be safe out there. Can't wait for the pictures. But yeah, bro. Have a safe drive tomorrow. We'll link up.
Appreciate it. You too.
Later,
Peace.
bro. Safe.